In the scene in Mount Doom in which Frodo finally fell to the One Ring and claimed it as his own, the young hobbit himself changed in a profound manner. However, the transformation could not be completed, as Gollum bit the finger off his hand and took the One Ring from him. What many fans don't realize, however, is that at that moment, when Frodo claimed the One Ring, he became powerful enough to even control the Nazgûl. Then Frodo stirred and spoke with a clear voice, indeed with a voice clearer and more powerful than Sam had ever heard him use, and it rose above the throb and turmoil of Mount Doom, ringing the roof and walls. "I have come," he said, "but I do not choose now to do what I came to do. I will not do this deed. The ring is mine." At this very moment, when Frodo claims the One Ring for himself, puts it on, and, for the first time, wields the true power of the One Ring, everything became immediately clear to Sauron. He knew that he had been deceived, and that his very existence was now hanging by a thread. Immediately he sent forth the Nazgûl, who flew at breakneck speed to Mount Doom, but not to kill Frodo. For that, they no longer could. In letter 246, Tolkien describes an alternative version of this scene and explains what would have happened if Gollum had not struck and Frodo had accepted himself as the new master of the One Ring. Over the course of his journey to Mordor, Frodo had been able to withstand the ring for 6 months and, with a few exceptions, never even put it on, even though the challenge for the Hobbit grew and grew the closer he got to Mount Doom. Through this, Frodo had acquired an immensely strong will. When, at the very end of his journey, he could no longer withstand the desire of the ring and put it on his finger, he was able to use this willpower to wield the ring to rule and dominate others. He would have even been able to control the ring wraiths and give them orders. However, he would not truly have been their new master and order them to face and fight Sauron. The 9 rings were bound to the One, and therefore subject to the will of the Lord of the One Ring, in this case being Frodo. However, the 9 rings were not in the possession of the Nazgûl, but held directly by Sauron, which gave him primary control over their wills. With this power still in Sauron's hands, he could have given them direct orders, and Frodo would, most certainly, have fallen into a trap. Tolkien describes the appearance of the Nazgûl before Frodo as follows. "I do not think they could have attacked him with violence, nor laid hold upon him or taken him captive. They would have obeyed or feigned to obey any minor commands of his that did not interfere with their errands, laid upon them by Sauron." So Sauron sends the Nazgûl to Mount Doom in order to keep Frodo away from the Samath Naur, the cracks of Doom, at all cost, and thus rob him of the chance to destroy the One Ring after all. So what if this alternative story had come to pass? Well, this is what Tolkien thought it might have looked like. After Frodo claimed the One Ring and put it on, all 8 Nazgûl would fly at breakneck speed over the plains of Udun and Gorgoroth. As they arrived at Mount Doom, however, they would not attack Frodo, but behave in a submissive manner towards the Hobbit. They would have greeted Frodo as Lord. With fair speeches they would have induced him to leave the Samath Naur. For instance, to look upon his new kingdom and behold from afar with his new sight the abode of power that he must now claim and turn to his own purposes. But wouldn't Frodo have become suspicious? Not in the least. A great ability of the One Ring was to influence the feelings of its wearer and make him believe that he could achieve anything he wanted. This is exactly what is described in The Return of the King, when Frodo is captured in the Orc Tower near Cirith Ungol and Sam takes the ring. Wild fantasies arose in his mind, and he saw Samwise the Strong, hero of the age, striding with a flaming sword across the darkened land, and armies flocking to his call as he marched to the overthrow of Barad-dûr. And then all the clouds rolled away, and the white sun shone, and at his command the Vale of Gorgoroth became a garden of flowers and trees and brought forth fruit. He only had to put on the ring and claim it for his own, and all this could be. Sam had these fantasies even when he had only held the ring for a short time, and had not even put it on. Frodo would have had much stronger and even more unattainable ideas and dreams on Mount Doom, where the power of the ring was at its greatest. So if he had listened to the seductive words of the Nazgûl and had gone outside, the victory of the free peoples would forever have been lost. Once outside the chamber, while he was gazing, some of them would have destroyed the entrance. Frodo would by then probably have been already too enmeshed in great plans of reformed rule. Thus the Nazgûl would prevent the One Ring from being destroyed after all, if Frodo were to notice his mistake. Very soon then Sauron would himself come, and the Hobbit would have simply been dealt with. Because in such a powerful presence as that of the true Lord of the Rings, Frodo would have been unable to defy him. He would have simply handed him the ring without any resistance. After that, a tragic fate would await Frodo, either turned to dust right then and there, or preserved in torment as a shivering slave. All of Middle-earth would have fallen under the rule of Sauron and been doomed. Thus we conclude this video. Did our answer surprise you, or do you have further questions? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear your take on it. If you enjoyed it and would like to learn more of the world of Tolkien, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when Mysteries of Westerness returns to Arda. This has been Irjikor Kuruvane, and I wish you all Namarie Meldonyar.